A reading from the Gospel according to Matthew. Chapter 22, verses 34 to 40. When the Pharisees heard that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together, and one of them, a scholar of the law, tested him by asking, "Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest?" He said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and the first commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. The whole law and the prophets depend on these two commandments."
Jesus' response once again takes up and joins two fundamental precepts which God gave his people through Moses. And thus he overcomes the snare that is laid for him in order to test him. His questioner, in fact, tries to draw him into the dispute among the experts of the law regarding the hierarchy of the prescriptions. But Jesus establishes two essential principles for believers of all times, two essential principles of our life. The first is that moral and religious life cannot be reduced to an anxious and forced obedience. There are people who seek to fulfill the commandments in an anxious or forced manner, and Jesus helps us understand that moral and religious life cannot be reduced to anxious or forced obedience, but must have love as its precept. The second principle is that love must tend together and inseparably toward God and toward neighbor. This is one of the primary innovations of Jesus' teachings, and it helps us understand that what is not expressed in love of neighbor is not true love of God, and likewise, what is not drawn